Earlier this week, I received some feedback at work. I was told I don't speak up enough in meetings, that sometimes I only speak when someone asks me a question, and that I spend too much time looking at my computer and it comes across as if I'm not engaged. I'll be honest, that feedback has stayed with me. Not because I think they're wrong. I know there is some truth to it, and I can improve. But if I'm not careful, my mind doesn't stop there. It starts telling me a much bigger story. A story that maybe I'm not engaged enough, or maybe I'm not leading my team well, and even maybe I'm not good enough at all. That's the voice I'm learning to recognize. I've spent a lot of years believing that every area where I needed to grow somehow said something about my worth. That if I needed feedback, if I missed something, if there was room to improve, then somehow I had failed. But that's not true. Receiving feedback doesn't define who I am. It highlights an opportunity to grow. And those are two very different things. I'm still learning to separate the two. It's amazing how quickly one mistake can become a verdict on who you are. And the funny thing is, I've been thinking about how differently I treat other people. If a friend had made the same mistake I did, I wouldn't tell them, "You're not good enough." If someone on my team missed something, I wouldn't question whether they belonged in their role. I'd coach them, encourage them, help them learn from it. And if my daughter came home one day feeling like she'd failed, I'd know exactly what I'd say. I'd remind her one mistake doesn't define her, that she's still learning, she's still capable, that I'm proud of her, that everyone gets things wrong sometimes. So why am I willing to extend so much grace to everyone else except myself? Somewhere along the way, I think I started believing that making a mistake meant I wasn't enough. That if I really deserved the opportunity I'd been given, I wouldn't miss things. I wouldn't need feedback. I wouldn't have moments where I questioned myself. The truth is, that's impossible. No leader knows everything. No parent gets it right every time. No author writes the perfect first draft. No one makes it through life without needing to grow. A few years ago, I wouldn't have accepted the inner voice. I would have accepted the inner voice as truth. Today, I still hear it, but I don't automatically believe it anymore. That's growth. The feedback I received this week still stung, but it also wasn't the end of the world. It didn't mean I was a bad leader. It didn't erase everything I had done well. It simply pointed out one area where I could grow. I don't think growth means criticism stops hurting. I think it means criticism stops defining you. Instead of hearing, "You're not enough," I heard, "Here's something you can improve." That's progress. Not because I've stopped caring, but because I've stopped believing that every piece of feedback is a judgment on my worth. It's simply information, and what I choose to do with it determines whether I grow. When I really think about it, the biggest shift hasn't come from becoming more successful. It's come from remembering where my identity actually comes from. Before I was a leader, before I worked in cybersecurity, before I wrote books, before I accomplished any of those things people know me for, I was already a child of God. My worth was never something I had to earn by performing perfectly. God has never asked me to be flawless. He's asked me to be faithful, to keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up. It's funny when something good happens in my life, I celebrate it for maybe, 5 minutes before I'm thinking about the next goal. But if I make a mistake, I can replay it in my mind for days and days and days. If you've ever been harder on yourself than you've been on someone you love, I hope you know you're not alone. And if this conversation resonated with you, I think you'll also connect with another story I've shared called The Problem with Being the Strong One. Because sometimes the person we're carrying the most isn't everyone else. Sometimes it's ourselves. Maybe that's where real growth begins. Not when we stop making mistakes, but when we stop letting them tell us who we are.